Business is to open the truck bids.
We received 4 bids, all were received timely. I just opened the bids, they came in as follows: Dawson Catlett, $3,500. Kenneth Turner, $3,800. Dry Ridge Auto Parts, $5,621.45. And Anthony Cooper, $3,505.
The $21 got it for him.
So is there a motion to accept the bid from Dry Ridge Litigation, Dry Ridge Auto Parts?
Also moved.
Roger makes a motion, Andrea seconds the motion. Any other questions on the bid?
And that will allow Paul Harp to handle the transfer of
Yeah.
that account.
Other questions? We'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed, like sign. Motion carried.
Amy, I will leave those.
According to our normal rate of business, the next item of business, we take visitors. On the list, we have Jimmy Howell with Howell Contracting. So whoever, I guess all 3 of you
Yes.
We are.
with the same group? Well, whoever's gonna speak or wants to speak, well, we're ready for you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Ken Seifried. I'm an attorney and represent Jimmy and Howell Contractors. What we're here for today is just to get a little clarification. This has to do with the Hartland Meadows development, if you all are familiar with that. And the request that Howell Contractors install the meter system in the meters for individual residents upon, I would imagine, application by this customer or that customer that purchases a home and wants to have that put in. If I understand the way your form works in your request.
Well, what normally happens in a subdivision is we furnish the material and the contractor puts the crossovers in, sets the meter crocs and everything.
I learned all that this morning, but thank you.
Oh, okay. So
Thank you,
that
Mr.
was,
Chairman.
that was our contention when we went with Mr. Howell the other day, is that's been our policy, that's established in every subdivision that's gone in Grant County. I put one in back in the late 80s, early 90s, and had to have a contractor put those in.
In this scenario, then that I think answered my first question. I had 2 questions. The first was, as I read your specifications,
Yeah.
it says you provide materials. So the water district will be providing whatever those materials are that I'm
Right.
learning about.
The crocs and the setters.
Yeah, exactly. So, but everything, I understand all those materials. Then the next question simply becomes one of payment. And that has to do with, my understanding, and there's a 1,358, sort of, whether it's called a toll or a fee, that the customer can be charged
Yes.
for the water district having that taken care of.
Yes.
However, the water district sets up the actual installation, et cetera. So then the question becomes, how is that particular fee remitted to how contractors for not only, I realize you all provide the materials, but for their doing the actual installation of the
Well,
product?
you'll have to go back a number of years. A number of years ago, we didn't furnish the material. But when a contractor put in a subdivision come in, they were required to put the lines in and crocs, and they paid the expense. And then when there was a hookup made, we would reimburse the contractor for the materials.
Okay,
But we changed that back a number of years ago because, like Mr. Howell said, he's putting in a street's got 100 homes on it. Well, 5 years from now, there may be some of those homes lots still to be sold.
understand.
So we had to keep a record of when a lot was sold, who to mail it to. Well, some of the contractors might even gone out of business. You know, so what we did, we changed that on the board and said, we will furnish the material and that, so that we don't have to keep a record of when a lot gets sold.
And from an administrative point of view for the water district, I can understand, you'd like to have, for your records, current. So you know what's going on, and you don't have to worry, as you said, 10 years from now, or there's still a couple lots.
Right.
You can stay up to date.
I put my subdivision in the late 80s, early 90s. I've still got 2 lots that other people bought in conjunction with their lots that somebody could move in. Well, under those guidelines, if somebody buys that lot and puts it in, I'm entitled to be reimbursed when they get their water hooked up. So we would have had to keep a record of that, so.
So in this scenario, and for Heartland Meadows, when Jimmy Howe's company puts in the first one, does the water district collect a fee from the homeowner or the resident?
No, not until the homeowner comes in and they wants hookup.
That's what, I apologize. So the homeowner comes in, I've seen your form, fills out your form, and Jimmy Howe does the work that's necessary to get the customer satisfied. He does the installation, et cetera, with parts provided by the water district. The water district is collecting the $13.58 from the homeowner. Do they pay, I don't know, but do they pay that when they fill out the form?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
I would imagine that makes
And
sense.
You may not be saying this, but just for clarity, generally it doesn't go, we make this development and then I buy a lot and then how contracting comes back out and sets the meter.
Yes, that.
Generally, everything is set when the
Exactly.
development's coming in.
So when is the $13.58 collected?
It is collected, so after all these lots are developed and they all have meter setters, you're building a house next fall.
Right.
When you come in to sign up for water service, that's when we collect that, and then we go drop a meter in the meter setter.
And you collect the $13.58, what do you understand you're getting paid for?
Yeah, it's just our standard meter.
No, I
set fee.
apologize, I'm not trying to put you under,
No.
look, I'm not trying to be, I'm trying to understand this. If you're getting, if you, meaning the water district, you're
Yeah.
getting the $13.58, are you getting the $13.58 for installation?
It
Or
is.
for parts?
It is what our public service meter set fee is.
I realize that,
Yeah.
but now I'll play lawyer with you in this sense. And that is, the way I read the regulation, you, as a water district, are required to install this system. Provide that upon request by your customer, because that, basically, the regulation says that you deal directly with the customer and you are obligated to install this system, and it describes the system more in your particular spec, your standards. And again, those are the parts you explained to me. I look at that as there's two elements involved here. There's material and there's labor. To me, when the regulation talks about installation, it's talking about just that, not just the parts, but the labor. But what your system is doing is you're collecting the full $13.58 for both, and yet you're not performing the installation part. I don't know, I have no idea of the relative aspects of that in terms of how much of one, how much the other. But you understand where Hal's coming from, that, Hal's view of this would be that if they're required to go ahead and hook up the meter system, I think is the language, that's fine. Then they'll just get the fee that the customer would otherwise pay to the water district. Because basically, it's almost like the water district, by its standard, is hiring Jimmy Howell as an independent contractor to install equipment. Now, that's the framework I see it. You're getting paid by the customer gets what it paid for, but unless Jimmy Howell gets paid, he's not getting paid for doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I need the clarification of how we resolve that.
Wouldn't he have another alternative though? He could put in cisterns for all those.
Well, that's not a bad argument, but you probably have to take it up with the legislature, because the legislature didn't say the water district could make that option. It requires you, upon the customer's request, to install the system. All your standard is doing is offloading the cost of the installation to another. And then, and again, this isn't pejorative, I'm not trying to hang terms on people, but if you look at it that way, you're double dipping on that aspect. In other words, you're collecting the $13.58, some portion of which is for the labor and the installation in that sense, as opposed to the equipment. You're getting paid for that, but you haven't done the service. Who's bearing that cost? Jimmy Howell. Okay, and so that's where there's the sort of the shortfall of, how we get this resolved. Now, again, one way is that we'll do all of it, just like any other. You hire an independent contractor, and you said, here we go, meet this spec, or your standard, and go ahead and put it in, customer has to come to you, because they can't come to us. You're the water district, but the water district just basically hires an independent contractor to do the work that you as the water district are required to do. So you pay us, that's all.
Well, but Mr. Howell has to put in the water main, right?
Of course, that's
You
all
agree with
part of the
that?
development.
Well, he also has to put in the sewer main
Sure.
in one extension of pipe. When they collect the sewer fee, does he get paid for putting anything back on
No, sir,
that?
because the regulation doesn't require that. The regulation doesn't require a customer to pay for that. That's part of the development. Comes down to the fact that the regulation requires the customer to pay for the meter hookup. And it also imposes the obligation for doing that on the water district. Once we're there, then the only question becomes, if you, as the water district, have two responsibilities, parts and labor, and you want to offload the labor, or you want to sort of front end your administrative records and get, all that makes sense. But if you're going to retain or hire a different contractor, then you gotta pay them. For example, if you have your own, I don't know if you do, but I know some other water districts have their own crews. You send your crew out, you're entitled to the full $13.58. They're installing it and you're using your parts. But if you, by standard, by your spec, say that the developer will now take on the part of an independent contractor for installation, then they gotta be reimbursed for that service.
No,
That's all.
our regulations require, in 2007, these were revised, they were approved by the Public Service Commission. It says that the contractor shall construct and install all materials for the meter setting, so they get it ready. There is no meter in that crock, is that what you, that's
Right,
okay.
Right.
That is the contractor's responsibility.
And I think we're on the same page, literally and figuratively.
Yes. Then, when was the last time we had our tap-in fee approved?
The last time.
Yeah,
That was
what,
just
how many years ago?
2023.
2023.
And they told us, didn't ask to have a raise, they told us to raise it.
Yes, we went to the PSC with a rate increase request, and they made us go through our standard fees, fixed fees, including but not limited to meter tap-ins. So when the house, or when the customer moves into the house and says, we need water service, the customer resident comes to us, signs a contract, pays us $1,358, which was approved by the Public Service Commission. We then go out and install the meter and provide the labor, and we pay for the meter and we install it. And that is what the $1,358 covers.
Yes.
That was approved by the PSC. What was our old tap-in fee? $1,000. And we asked for, I believe, $1,500, something like that. And they went through and looked at our cost, labor, etc., and determined that a fair and accurate tap-in fee that goes to the district was $1,358.
And that's the same tap-in fee whether the water line's on this side of the road or across the road.
It makes no difference.
They took an average of that and said that's
Right.
what the average is gonna pay everybody.
May I comment on that?
Sure.
Exactly, I couldn't agree with you more. And by the way, whether the amount's
Yeah.
1,300 or 1,600, that's not material to what we're
Yeah.
talking about. I couldn't agree with you more. Whoever does all that work should be paid for it. But
Well, that
let
is,
me, please let me just finish. But The regulation doesn't just say that you're obligated, upon request of a customer, to put in just the meter box. It talks about the service connection, the meter system, and the meter box. I mean, my understanding of the meter box is sort of like the last item, not really that big an item in terms of material, et cetera. But my point, sir, is that when you all went back to the commission, the whole point was to be adequately reimbursed as the water district for what you're obligated to do.
And
Whether they gave you the right amount, 1,600 or 1,300, either way, what you're being reimbursed for is the service of installation. But that's what you're requiring Jimmy Howe to do.
Installing, no. Here's our specifications.
Yes,
They're-
are we both looking at section 2, section F, meter service,
I am looking at page
7?
section F.
Yes, sir.
Meter service.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
it outlines what the contractor developer has to do.
Yes, sir.
That means he's gotta put in the water lines and put in a crock. Now, you
I don't
asked,
disagree with any of
yeah,
that.
okay, then you say, who's paying for that?
Yes. The customer's paying for it.
Exactly,
The customer's
the
paying for it.
resident,
But who should they be paying? The person that does.
the contractor, cause
Yes,
he is the one that is putting that line and bringing it up to their quote front door, just like the sewer line and the water line and the cable TV and everything else. It's no more or less a contractor expense than putting the roof on the house or the driveway in or anything else. That's a cost that is included in the cost of the home that the customer is buying.
Well, that's
Then
fine.
the district, under the PSC regulations, the district is required to install that meter at our cost. We pay for that meter and install it and hook it up and do the necessary connections. And we have asked the Public Service Commission, what is a fair charge for just that service? And the Public Service Commission told us in 2023, I don't know the exact year, that $1,358 is a fair cost. And parenthetically, I might add that Bullock Penn, and correct me if I'm wrong, Paul, has probably one of the least expensive tap-in fees locally. I believe the city of Florence is, what, 2,500 or something, and
The city moves.
yeah, it's much more than what we charge. And I know the city of Williamstown is more, the city of Dry Ridge is more, and all of those other districts and water entities, to my knowledge, have adopted basically the same protocol that Bullock Penn has adopted when it comes to installing water lines and water service and sewer service, for that matter, to subdivisions.
That's not true.
Well,
Well,
Jim, let me.
You know,
Whether,
so-
see, sorry, I don't mean
Yeah.
to deflect from the fact that you all are focusing on the amount, but it's not really a question of whether 1358 is reasonable or not reasonable given the circumstances. The question is, your obligation under the regulations is to install that upon the customer's request. Let me finish, please.
Okay.
Not your, I'm looking at your standard specs, that's
Okay.
your standard
Yeah,
specs,
okay.
water district. I'm speaking about the Kentucky Administrative Regulation 5.066, go to section 11/1. It requires and obligates you as a water district to furnish and install, and it goes on to say, service connection, meter system, meter box, there's a few other things. The point is, when the commission authorized your tap-in fee of $13.58, it authorized the water district to collect that upfront from the customer to get the installation done. But you all under your standard spec, which is also fine, perfectly legitimate to first have that done by the contractor as part of what the developer or the contractor does to do it within your system. However, what your specification neither expressly addresses nor allows is for you to collect the money for that work directly from the customer without remitting it to Howell, or alternatively, as you said, Howell doing it or getting the fee paid directly to them. But administratively, that would make no sense, because customers have to come in, they have to fill out a form, they have to make their payment so that we know they're good, and then the service gets provided. Now, if you all have your own in-house crews, or if you hire an independent contractor to say, hey, so-and-so wants to do this, fine. But more practically, you go back to the developer. It's because they're already on set, and you go, okay, go ahead and do that, because your specs allow that, your standard. But the regulation doesn't allow you to keep the money.
Right,
It doesn't allow you to double dip.
right.
We're not double dipping.
Well, you are, sir, because you're not doing the installation. We are.
No, we are installing a meter and installing a meter at our cost and our expense as to the cost of the meter and all
In
the
the back end.
fixtures
So,
and
so
components
what you're
and
saying
labor.
is, you're not going to impose your standard on Jimmy Howell. You're not going to require him to do it. Because
To do what?
The
to
front
do
end.
exactly what your spec F says.
Right,
The spec says, the developer, contractor, shall construct and install all
Yeah.
materials
Right,
for the meter setting, et cetera.
right.
But if he's gonna do that, you have to pay him.
right.
Because you're being paid,
No.
you're being paid to have that done, sir. You are.
Okay, well,
The regulation requires you to do it, the customer pays you to do it, and if you're going to do it, then you have to hire somebody in-house, you have somebody, or you hire somebody. The
so,
spec doesn't allow you to take the fee paid for the service provided by Jimmy Howell, because you haven't done it. If you install it, fine. If you install it, or have Jimmy Howell install it, and then remit to him the payment for that, that's fine. But the spec, the regulation does not allow you to double dip, and also, if you just read your spec, it doesn't say anything about that the contractor has to do this at its cost. Read your spec.
So are you talking about our specs or the
No, no,
Kentucky
no.
regulations?
No, I'm talking about your spec, this is
Yeah.
section F. If you look at section F, here's what it says. It says the contractor shall install, et cetera. Doesn't say anything about whose cost. You know why?
Whoever contractor installs it.
Well,
he-
shall
it's not-
install.
exactly.
No,
Yes.
no, let me
Shall
finish,
install.
please. Read the next
Pretty-
sentence. Read the
Yeah,
next
it's
sentence.
base.
Read the next
Yeah.
sentence. Two sentences. It talks about any meter boxes that are too low or too high
Yeah.
shall be reinstalled at the correct ground elevation. All costs for that,
Yeah.
raising or lowering the meter box, shall be borne by the developer. It doesn't say all costs about the installation. This is a reinstallation because something
To fix
is
it.
off. That makes sense. If you're hiring a contractor to do your installation and you pay them and they don't get it right and they have to reinstall something, you're not gonna pay them twice.
Right.
But the standard does not, in your standards, do not say that the initial installation is to be borne, that's your language, all costs shall be borne by the developer. See,
Well,
and my
what
last
we- what we-
legal point is, when courts look at contracts, that's all this is, they're very particular about what exactly it says.
Yeah.
You impose costs for reinstallation, you don't impose costs for the initial installation. And that's all we're asking for.
Okay,
It's
well-
fine that you wanna get your stuff out of the way up front, but all we're asking is that we get our payment
Compensated.
for doing what
Well,
we
okay.
are obligated to do.
What we have, Chairman, we have a difference of interpretation
Yeah,
in these
that's true.
specs and regs. We've been, to the PSC on this twice, and we've never been called on the carpet for not doing it your way.
I'm
Other,
not going down the corner, I'm just trying to.
I understand.
Clarify.
And this is the way we've been doing it since day one. To suggest that the district would would pay basically for the construction and installation of all materials that would be lines under streets, that
Yes.
everything from the master line into the house would be at our cost and expense
That's
under
not what
your
I'm suggesting.
interpretation.
No.
If I've
Let
confused
me
you, I
finish.
apologize.
Paul, what would that cost the district in terms of labor, materials, et cetera, per house? Would 1,300 hours cover that?
Well, the $1,300 is, it's just dependent on so many things.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly.
What does the meter itself cost?
All the meter itself is, $300, I think.
Is that with our radio read and everything?
I believe so. I think it's,
I thought it was 600.
It doesn't matter.
Well, if I
Yeah,
understand what
it
he's
doesn't
saying
matter.
right, under the contractor is installing the main. And why wouldn't he install it? Basically, he would be required to install the lines under the street and stub them up. We would get paid the $1,300 to come out at the end of that line and set a crock, and set a meter setter, and set the meter. That would be our $1,300. The problem with that is if you don't set the meter setter and that, you can never turn that line on until every lot is sold and every meter setter's on. So that's why, because it just throws the water out through the lines.
Every one of them that you hook up with the saddle's individual. If the water line's been tested and
It can't be tested till they're all shut down.
what?
I think we're
Here's what I'm
on
saying,
the
if you
topic.
put the water main in, and you have to put the water line in to go across the street and stub up just a black water line, like you would on your electric, that electric goes in and comes up at a transformer, goes across the street to another thing, those are stubbed off. You're required to do that, or pay somebody to do that. So according to your regulation, I think it says that the crock and the meter and that, I have Parkinson's, why I shake.
Oh, no, you're
Just so you know.
Service, it talks about service connection,
Well-
meter box and others.
But it also, we're not arguing that he's not responsible to put the water main in.
That's, the water main, not the main, it's, all we're focused on is what you all focus on in your section F, two F, of your own standard. And again, so if I confuse you, I'm not
Well-
talking about the whole bill, just meter service. It's, your standard is very specific, talking about what that entails, and I read that to you already. That collection of activities is what the KAR is referring to when it says that's the obligation of the water district, and for which, fulfilling that obligation upon the customer's request, you're allowed to charge up to the $13.58. Again, whether that number is, reasonable or not, that's not, to me, the issue before all of us. It's just that you have an obligation under the regulation, the state regulation. And then, under your water district standard, you have taken that particular obligation and appropriately said it's the developer's, is to do that, and you'll provide the various equipment. But that only leaves the question about who collects the payment for that work. You're entitled to collect it, because you're the only one that can bill the customer. But if you're going to not do the actual installation, you're going to hire somebody or require somebody, which you can do, you still have to pay them. That's all. You can't not perform that aspect of your regulatory requirement to install and then still collect a fee for it. Because you, in essence, whether the fee's sufficient or not, you haven't earned it. You're not out. You have taken something that is a benefit, as we say in the law, that you haven't provided anything back. In other words, that's fine. You can ask somebody else to do it, but you got to pay them for it. You can require somebody else to do it, that's your standard.
The front end
But
work.
they still have,
right? You're talking about installation in the front end work, him doing the work, they're collecting the money, but they're not giving him the money that he earned. They're talking about installing the back end box.
The relationships here are not, Jimmy Howell doesn't have a one-on-one relationship with any particular homeowner or customer, as it's, the customer is defined in the regulations. The only relationship between Jimmy Howell is with the water district. The only relationship with the customer is with the water district. The only obligation for installation is with the water district. Now, the water district is part of its relationship with Jimmy Howell, can say maybe offload, but assign that response, its obligation to install. It can require Jimmy Howell to install and provide the materials for that. But it can't then go to its relationship with the customer and say, pay, and well, they collected the money, but they can't say, well, thank you for paying us, get that done.
Mhm.
Well, there's
That would be
there's obviously a difference of interpretation. The district's interpreting it one way, you're interpreting it another. With that said.
So what do we want to do with that?
We are going to, I presume, that's up to the district, but the district has a set policy that it has used for decades. Am I not correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And, under section P on page 4 of section 1, introduction, a applicant or a customer or a developer may request a variance from these rules and regulations if they so desire. So if the contractor wants to submit a formal request for a variance from the district's policy, then go ahead and do that, submit that to the district, and they can have a hearing on it, so to speak, and make a decision as to whether or not a variance will be granted.
And how do you envision the variance?
You would have to say that it is our interpretation of these regulations and specifications that the cost of installing from the master line, the master water transmission line, that any and all cost of materials and labor to bring the hookup from that point to the customer's house would be the responsibility of the district. The contractor will do it, and the contractor would charge the district X dollars per house on average, and the district would pay that to the contractor.
I wouldn't see that as a variance, because that would be on the premise that that's already in your specs.
Okay.
But I would see it more as a variance that says simply that Jimmy Howell is not obligated under section 2F to do the installation.
Then
Is that?
You're all
the
seeing it
same-
one
wait a
way
minute.
and we're seeing it the
But
other way.
anyway,
So
wait a
my
minute,
recommend is, if you need to take it to court, take it to
Oh,
court.
no,
Roger.
not court, we would, that to me would seem more like a variance.
Then go ahead and
That's why-
submit that variance. I'm not gonna tell Mr. Howe or you how to practice the case. That is your decision, that is your legal, decision, so.
From our perspective, what it looks to me is we've had the same standard operating procedure, if you will, for many, many, many years. And you coming in to argue that, if you've read it, is great, but it really looks to me as though you're trying to get out of something that every single
No.
other developer has
No.
paid over the past many years.
Now, I got two things to say. If you make me go put them in for free, you're talking around $250,000.
Mhm.
Then you're gonna charge the people at the homeowners another $250. So the people that are gonna live in the subdivisions are gonna pay a total of $500,000 for water meters. Because just like where I built my house, I put in a 6-inch water main back the whole road, all the fire hydrants, you got it for free. I wasn't allowed to put in the meter on the 4 houses, I had to come down and sign up.
Right.
And you all went to put, now this is a total different
Where was
thing
this
right
at?
here.
There wasn't a subdivision.
At the,
The road.
Those,
Okay,
jail
so,
people or
Yeah.
So,
So when I called,
right,
before I ever even talked to anything, and I called whoever answered the phone down here, and I said, what is the procedure for getting a water meter service? She said, you have to come down, fill out the application, we give you a blue flag, you put it where you want the water main, we send our own crews out to put it in. That's what I was told.
Okay.
So,
I would suggest that I'm not gonna tell you how to practice your case, but, if you like, file a variance under whatever, section 1,
P.
subparagraph F, and I don't know what else to tell you.
I don't
Okay.
think
And
that,
honestly, and that'll be fine, and by the way, don't worry, I appreciate you helping me practice this area of law. And the variance sounds like a way to go. I was just gonna give a little more advice.
Yeah.
Thanks.
understand that if there's any addition, any
Also,
change in
just
the
trying to get it
cost,
resolved. Excuse me?
any change in the cost that we would assign to anybody outside of our normal course of business, developer or otherwise, would also then have to be approved by the Public Service Commission. That's not our choice. We can't just, we can't approve a variance without using the Public Service Commission's approval, because that just gets us in trouble.
Yeah.
But-
So, and that would just take an exceptionally long
No, I appreciate your comment. And again, I think, you know, this has been very helpful for my client and for me personally. I think at least, and I hope I have, expressed to you where we see the disconnect between district.
I understand exactly what you're saying.
So it's just a matter of customer shield, we pay one time, and not, and that's fine, we're only paying one time for $13.50. But it's who receives the payment for the work actually done. And when you look at it that way, because it's your job to get the work done, the installation, how you assign that work, that's your discretion, different ways, one of which is through your subsection 2F. But again, it's just a matter of, okay, well, when you do assign that, you have to pay for it. Because you're not providing that service to the customer. Yes, you are if you hire somebody, but you're not actually doing anything for that. Now, if you hire somebody, sure, because you're paying that person, that's all. If we're all on, and then if there's any questions y'all have,
Okay.
so, and I appreciate your help.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Do you have anything else?
And
Thanks.
it,
It was nice meeting you.
Oh,
Mr.
nice
Chairman. And the rest of the folks, I told Chuck that I looked you up today, I printed out your picture.
here's my card if you need anything from me. May I have one of your cards?
I'll be happy to.
I hope it'll work out. No, I say.
I kind of recognize him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know of him, I don't know if I've ever met him, but I know he's big around Williamstown.
As well as could be expected.
Well, that is.
Well,
I recognize it.
And you get better looking off that.
Not home.
Roger,
Been rocked around doing that for a long time.
Yeah, I
I've been
have,
doing it a long time.
yes, I've been doing it too
Yeah,
long.
off the golf course.
Did you? Yeah, but you're
No,
smart.
no. I know Linda is a member of the Board of Adjustment
oh,
for
sure,
the
Todd,
city
we're
of
getting
Florence.
pretty quiet, just
I think
because
she's
when
still
things like
at
this come up, like, well,
KMK.
now it's been going on for so long now that.
I guess my big deal is, you know, it's about
Oh my goodness.
So that's, yeah.
So,
Anyway, thank you. You bet. Take care, Ken. Thank
We're gonna
you.
double charge a homeowner. Cause if we go do it the first time, and we was forced to do it, we'd have to charge. And then,
Well, it's not charging everybody.
Yeah.
What they check is okay, so we like,
Yeah.
the developer lays Okay.
Sorry.
I was trying to help.
I'm looking for me.
I was trying to help and set the meter.
What was your name?
And the fee
Seifried.
is
Kent?
basically the cost of
Seifried.
setting the meter.
Like a cigarette.
And then it's almost kind of
Remember
like an
this Kent
insurance
cigarette?
policy.
My dad used to smoke those
And
like
the line
crazy.
ends up being our
My mom smoked
responsibility.
those.
And so for ongoing.
Good job.
For ongoing
But that's-
maintenance costs,
that's
that really
nice.
helps cover future costs and everything
So-
associated with that.
Once we put the main line in and we test it, back they're tested, we're not allowed to do anything to it.
Right.
Unless we call you.
Right.
Right? Because you're the owners of it.
But if you think about the subdivision, you put a water main in down the
It's
street.
nice meeting you.
What's your name?
Michelle.
Michelle.
Nice to meet
It's
you.
another
I'm
time
Donna.
over to these spots. Go down here, guys, like this. Happen here, or down here, and I believe it's gonna happen here, and put lines in. That all should be done by the
Life's
developer.
too short.
And we get paid for setting the crop and the meter.
Right.
Well, we can't charge this line until this has a meter setter on the end of it. That was my intention.
Yeah, so actually the developer.
Can we get some order here? I got a question.
Are they talking about like if they got the road in, then they sell a lot, we gotta drill underneath the road? and-
They want one of two things. They
Yes.
either want us to
Yeah.
set the meters, or they want us to pay them to set the meters.
And put in, install water lines is what they want us to do.
I know, I've never heard of anybody
Well,
No,
wanting that.
here's what,
it's a
I didn't do
cost
it in
that
that
the
subdivision or
developer.
that mobile home park, I had to go
No.
the same route.
here's my contention is, according to the state regulations he's reading, the developer is responsible for putting the water mains in. Part of that water main is getting that line to each lot.
Yeah,
Now, we get paid $1,358 for the crock, and the meter setter, and the meter.
right,
But that goes on the end of the line that they have to put.
exactly.
And my contention is if they don't set the crock and the meter
Yes.
setter, they can never charge that line because you've got all these 1-inch lines open everywhere, that once you charge the line, it's gonna be squirting water out.
Could you imagine the cost involved if their interpretation is accepted in terms of sanitary sewer service? Holy cow, oh well, okay, let's
We'll probably be
get
hearing from
moving.
them again.
Yeah, let's get.
Well, I know they're paying on electric to put all the electric things in with the crossovers and everything. Ogden Electric's contracting that out because they want underground and you have to pay for underground service. And I know for a fact, Ogden Electric is contracting that out and then they're gonna bill Howell Construction for whatever it costs
Yeah,
to put
for
that
the cost of
electric
that
conduits and
electric.
all that in.
Yeah,
I have one question. Is there a clarification issue here? What they asking, is it now clear as mud and what's in the reading there?
no, I think it's pretty clear.
So we don't need to go back and have this rewritten, where they say what's going on there?
If they have to put in the 1-inch line crosses over the 1-inch connectors at the time they install the main, until that meter setter's on the end of it, you cannot shut that line off. So that's why we furnish the crocs and the meter setter so that they can test the line.
Is that?
I mean, that's accurate, it's.
If,
It's a-
what he's saying, we would have to go
Okay.
out there and set 100 meters in crocs.
To
Yeah.
me, that project was approved for them to, it was approved by this board for them to put that development in. That was contingent on them installing that by our spec books, based off our interpretation of the spec book.
I think what would be good, before we hear from him again, is to answer his initial question, and that is, what exactly is the 1358 for? What exactly, aside, if we had an answer to that specific question,
Yes, when
The-
we filed for our rate increase, the PSC told us to submit documentation to substantiate the cost of installing a meter and charging a meter or a tap-on fee. We went through that process, Paul, and I guess, Amy, pull up our PSC application from 2023, or whenever, I don't remember when it was.
Justification.
And, yeah, and it will have in there everything that we submitted. because we submitted an initial request for $1,500 per tap-in fee, and the PSC said we want more documentation, time, materials, cost, everything. We submitted all of that to the PSC, and they came back and said $1,358. I can remember commenting about how do you come up with $1,358? But that's what the PSC came up with, and that's what they authorized us to do. And in that request, we submitted documentation regarding the cost of the interpretation of these specs, our interpretation.
Right.
Which means the $1,358 was for connecting, I don't know the terminology, Paul, help me out. Putting in the meter inside the little tank that it goes down into, and hooking it up, and blah, 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 and that labor and everything, and testing it, and turning the water on. I mean, that takes a lot of time.
Well, to me, there's a difference in, you own a farm and you want a meter. So Bullock Ben comes out and sets you a meter. That is different than you as a developer. You're bringing this whole development in. That's part of the process, is to have all this meter setting equipment installed.
In the cost,
It's not I mean,
it's just like a developer of a subdivision doesn't directly charge for the street installation to the homeowner, but indirectly they do. They take that as a infrastructure cost, and it goes onto the cost of the lot, which ultimately goes to the cost of the house. And telephones, and ultra fiber, and sewer, and cable, and what else okay.
So like I said, if you can answer the question, that seems cut and dry, like what, just answer.
Paul's gonna pull up that
Because
information.
if you say 300 for the meter, 50 for the telemetry, $1,000 for
Yeah.
ongoing maintenance, and a
Yeah.
person joining the club, great. But if you come up with the fact that 500 of that is for installation, he's got a point, and that's why we need to know exactly what that cost is.
Right.
Well, that's, okay. Paul, you pull us up that, we'll look at it.
I'll get it out.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, let's get on with the meeting. Next item of business is approval of the minutes as they were mailed.
I make a motion we approve minutes.
Motion made to approve the minutes, Bill seconded.
Who seconded?
Bill seconded, somebody made the motion. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed, like sign, motion carried. If you had a few minutes to look over the warrants, we need a motion to approve the warrants.
What was granted from Harps?
You told me to notarize it, that city of Williamstown agreement.
Oh, okay.
You get Bill to sign up.
I'm just checking, see if it's something we need to buy.
No, well, how much was it?
$574.
$574?
Yeah.
We did buy something. It's a meter crop pump.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just hate bringing something, so yeah,
We did buy it.
okay.
Okay.
Any other questions on the warrants?
I'll make a motion to accept the warrants.
Ryan makes a motion to
I'll
accept the
second it.
warrants, Roger seconded. Any other discussion on the warrants? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. Opposed, like sign, motion carried. Mr. Nienaber.
Okay, Garrison Litigation, our counsel is going to prepare a motion for summary judgment on or before the filing deadline, which I believe is September 1st. There has been no further developments in the case other than I sent you a copy of the order dismissing the banks or whatever, it doesn't affect our position in this case at all. Since we had our pretrial conference 2 months ago, plaintiff's counsel or Crittenden's counsel have not contacted anyone, myself, Womack, or Chief, no one. So as of right now, we're still moving forward with the litigation.
I thought we talked about it in April, if they didn't come up with this stuff, it's gonna be dead in the water. So did they come up with the information they needed to move forward on this case, or?
They have not provided anything.
So why is this not just, why is the judge not totally out of court?
Well, that's what a MSJ, a motion for summary judgment, covers. And the deadline, I believe, is September the 1st to file a motion for summary judgment, which asks the court to throw the case out.
Okay.
Without proof, and again, when we were at the pretrial conference, we heard again from Crittenden's counsel that they have a report that says that we are at fault. We have asked for that report. Ms. Cheek has asked for that report. Mr. Womack has asked for that report, both verbally, on the phone, in letters, and through official court discovery requests. And we have not gotten it. So
all this goes back to the maintenance of the dam. Is anybody maintenance in this dam now between now and September?
if you go out there and look at that dam face right now, there hasn't been anything done to that surface in many months. I mean, there are trees in there that are 10 foot tall.
Yeah, it's been years.
Well, Jimmy, that's what all this is about, started was the maintenance of the dam.
As of right now, the only engineering report that has been penned relating to that dam is that it needs to be maintained in terms of removal of brush and debris and overgrowth from the dam face. There has never been any engineering report that has said that the dam is structurally unsound, that there is an issue with the district driving a truck over the face of the dam. Nothing that even remotely addresses that issue. So that's where we're at. The PSC order, the case that was initiated against the district, wanting to know what was done with respect to construction on the water treatment plant, not a peep out of the Public Service Commission. We have filed our response through Mr. Wuetcher, and the PSC is silent. We haven't heard a word. I'm surprised that we haven't heard anything. I figured they would have dismissed the case right away, but it's just sitting there collecting dust at this point. No one has asked for a public hearing. No one has asked to intervene additionally, except the city of Crittenden, and they were rejected. No one has asked for a hearing date. No one has done anything in the case. We have complied with every order of the PSC, and we have provided them all the information and data that they requested, and it's just sitting there.
Can we ask them to have it removed off our record if it's not doing anything?
Yes, Mr. Wuetcher is counsel of record in that proceeding. And yes, he could say, file a request with the PSC to enter a ruling. I don't know. I'm going to defer to Mr. Wuetcher in that regard. He has 25 years' experience working for the PSC and probably 10 years after his retirement of working with the PSC as private counsel, and I would defer for him. So if you want me to contact Mr. Wuetcher and say, please file a motion for ruling or whatever that appropriate filing would be, I can do that, if that's what you all want me to do.
It gets it off our record, right?
Get it off, be done with it one way or the other. You make that motion, I'll second.
You don't need to, we don't need a motion. I will put on my do list, call Jerry, RE motion for a ruling.
Well, would it be expunged or would it be?
No, they would, the PSC will, I'll defer to Jerry Wuetcher. So, but I'll call him and see what we need to do.
What's he charged for a phone call, Tom?
Please?
What's he charged for a phone
A
call?
lot,
Yeah, it probably costs us
a lot more than me. I'm the fool in this case. A lot more than me. Let me see, oh,
Maybe you should write him a letter.
You know what?
That would be more.
That would be more,
Yeah,
'cause then,
read.
yeah, okay. Recently, we were contacted, Paul was, by the, city of Williamstown. And our current water purchase agreement with the city of Williamstown has expired. It expired, I believe,
The January 1st.
yeah, of this year, of 2026, yes. The city of Williamstown needs a interim contract in order to apply for a grant, I believe is what they're applying for. So they provided us a water supply agreement that is for the remainder of this year. It charges the same rates, there's no rate increase. It's basically a carbon copy of the water purchase agreement that we did back in 1994, renewed it in 2013 and 2019. With that said, I took the agreement, the proposed water purchase agreement that the city provided. I added 2 provisions, milquetoast, boilerplate, nothing significant. This agreement, as presented, will run through the end of the year. During this period from now until the end of the year, we can sit down with the city of Williamstown and renegotiate a new long-term contract. Right now, we are being charged by the city of Williamstown $3.49 per 1,000 gallons, and that's what this contract calls for. So, I asked Paul to review the technical points of contact, pressure, flow rates, yada, 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 and all that is acceptable. With that said, I also prepared a separate resolution because we have got to submit with the water supply agreement a resolution authorizing Chuck to sign this interim agreement. So with that said, I need a motion and a second.
Does that have to go to PSC again?
Yes, and that will be part of the motion, is with all agreements that we do, we submit them to the PSC, and I will take care of that.
Can we ask them for a rough draft of what something or a date that we work on the new contract? Cause I don't wanna wait till December to be scrambling the last minute.
Well, again, the template for this interim water supply agreement is what I prepared back in 96, as amended in 2013 and 2019. So I pretty much got what I want in there. If I sent everybody an email, and I caught you on this one, Brian, you didn't read your email.
I did read it.
And I said that there are a couple other clauses that we need to add to this. One of them is PSC approval. And that goes without saying. Number two, I want to add special language on PFAS. Again, we don't have a PFAS issue, but I don't know if Williamstown has a PFAS issue.
Or in
And-
30 years. if it-
Please?
Or if in 30 years if it pops up.
Exactly, yes. And a couple other things that I wanna add, so we're ready to go. It won't be an issue. And as a practical matter, Williamstown needs this more than we do. So I don't think, and again, they're the ones that waited till the last second on this, not us. And, they are chomping at the bit, as I
So we
understand.
need a motion to extend the
Yes.
agreement and authorizing me to sign it.
Correct, yeah.
I make that motion.
Andre made that motion.
I'll second.
And
Brian second.
when,
Will a new contract after the end of this year, is that gonna require any major changes or just,
It's up to them.
no,
so I mean,
No,
it's not gonna require work, how many hours of work to create a revised?
no.
Unless they say something silly.
Yeah, I will condition that, yes, unless they come back with something crazy.
That's what I'm afraid
if
of.
they come back with some agreement like they got already.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm afraid that they're gonna come up there and try to slide something in the last moment.
Yeah, but PSC won't let that
Yeah.
happen.
I know, but if we handle it in September, it's different handle it in November.
But again, they need this more than we do.
Well, they need it for a grant.
Uh-huh.
They need it just for a grant. Other than that,
No, they need us to buy water from them.
If we quit buying water from them, they'd have to raise the rate on their customers
Perhaps,
considerably.
I would
perhaps.
say it would be quite the dent to their yearly budget.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Did we vote on that?
No.
No. And
Okay.
who made the motion?
Andre made a motion, I seconded it.
Andrea Walton, Brian Slaughter.
Any other discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed, like sign, motion carries.
Do you want me to send this to him, Paul, or,
I can send it to you. I have a relationship with you,
okay?
unless you just want to.
Is this going to Timmy?
Huh?
Is this going to Timmy?
No, going to
Because I heard he's
Mayor.
retiring again.
Mayor is,
Okay.
yeah, Timmy quit.
Attach this to this.
Okay.
And then I will
That's what
attach this stuff to the minutes,
That's
yada,
something
yada,
wrong.
yada.
So do you already have two copies?
Timmy quits, so Tyler's having to run the
Here, you
plant.
want another copy?
No,
you can have another.
I was gonna
No,
make
I
you
need
one
a
copy.
copy.
No, I've got
That
plenty.
night.
And tell the mayor
He's working
I
night
need
shift.
that
That's what he's, because
ASAP,
there ain't anybody else to do
a
it.
signed copy,
Okay. I
yes.
will.
Cause I wanna send it to the
What's that?
PSC.
Yeah.
But I mean, even us sending it to the PSC doesn't stop their process. I mean, it's just a.
No, I can't send it to the PSC till they sign
Well,
it, yeah.
but I mean, after they sign it, they can do whatever they want to it. Us submitting it to the PSC
Right.
doesn't hinder them any at all, correct?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No, the PSC will approve that because,
Yeah.
it's basically the same one that we had.
What about the copy of the resolution?
It's attached, I attached it.
It's not attached to this
I'll
one,
get you
no.
a copy.
I gotta put it in the minutes.
Gosh, Amy.
You were supposed to come back all refreshed and.
He was.
I was until I stepped through that door.
You've had 2 months off. What are you complaining about?
Okay, what else you got, Tom?
That's all I have.
So where are we on the plan? Are we waiting for something before we, because our next step is financing, right? KRWA, isn't that the next
What-
big chunk?
essentially, we're waiting on KRWA to do the 27, 25, whatever year, analysis.
Okay.
The alteration of Bob Miller's.
They've had that thing 2 months, haven't they, since we notified them?
Well, I talked to them this week, and they said it wouldn't take too long and it wouldn't cost very much, but they wouldn't tell me how long or how much it would cost.
Okay, Bob Miller update,
I hope we have
2
some next
weeks.
meeting.
Yeah, who's doing Bob Miller then?
Yeah.
But you did request it though.
Yes, I did request it.
Well, we need to either get that or just go ahead and go back to Kentucky KIA and say,
Well, I think we definitely need to get it.
pull that off the table and let's take a vote on it.
I'll make that motion.
Now, let us talk to Jerry first.
I think we definitely need to wait for, well, that's the whole point of having this other report, is to take the KIA.
I just don't wanna come in here a month from now and still don't have the report back from them.
Yeah, I know.
What about Bob Miller, the whole 4,500, 2,500, 1,500 thing? Are you doing that or is Tom?
I'm doing it.
Okay,
I've got,
well, I'm not, I want to skip over that.
yeah, I've got a
Okay.
breakdown here of it.
I just feel like we've been sitting on our hands an awful long time.
Yeah.
Nice to kind of like start pushing the,
We're always
pushing
waiting.
all down the road.
This will move slow, but I
Oh,
think we're
Paul, I
stopped.
had one thing that I forgot to ask.
We got,
Over the last few months, we have been monitoring the lake level.
lake level has been consistently,
Even in the drought?
yes, I don't have the
So-
numbers in front of me. It wasn't at full, but it
But you-
wasn't.
There was no major,
Nothing.
no material, no material.
Water going over the dam every day.
Yes.
Okay, anything else?
So the reports of, the lake drying up and,
Not,
okay.
as of now, not
Okay.
accurate.
No dead fish.
Actually, my son's been catching some big fish in there.
Really?
Is it my turn?
Yes, it's your turn,
He's ready to get rid of us.
Supervisors' reports are as always in your packets. Also in your packets is the cover letter from Division of Water Sanitary Survey. If you would like a copy of the full report, I can send it to you. It is not great reading material though.
But it was a good report.
Yeah, I have to write a letter about one instance. We've used the same leak log sheet at least 20 years that I've been here, and now they have a problem with it, so I have to write a letter saying that we'll change to their preferred leak log sheet. But nothing big.
Just a plank leak log, I take it then?
Like if we have a water main leak somewhere, we have to fill out the sheet and put that in a binder.
Water that's coming into Bullock Pen or not, or anything, period.
Meter or water that's leaking out. So if we have a leak on Reeves Road,
Yes.
we have to write that up, what size main, what caused the leak, if you know, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And we've been using the same sheet for 20 years and now it's not a good sheet.
Progress,
Yep.
time to change it if you do.
We already talked about the analysis from Kentucky Roll Water. The Lake Road fiasco is finished.
The Reeves Road thing, or no,
Yeah, Lake
Day
Road,
Road, Day Road.
off a day,
Yeah.
yes, where it
Oh,
was
yeah,
going through,
yeah.
that's all over, thank God. I am in need of upgrading our telemetry computer at the water plant. It is ridiculously expensive.
Upgrade telemetry.
I figured that old thing didn't even have a computer, I think it had little things to move over.
They've got a dozen monks that sit down there at night.
How expensive?
The same one's doing that report. so they need-
$6,430.
How much?
$6,430.
I thought it was gonna be, that ain't.
Computer?
But just looking at it, it looks like a desktop
Oh,
computer.
Yeah,
But
but
it's gotta have all the
I was
microcom
thinking
software in
you-
it,
Right.
all the telemetry
Yeah.
So
software.
is any of
So
that,
that's what we're paying for.
is any of that telemetry system carry over if we do this new plan?
Yeah, yes, it'll still carry over. The problem with that kind of stuff is it's so, it becomes obsolete so fast. You know, it's a constant upgrading.
Yeah.
Every 3 months.
Well, that really pays for itself, though, that telemetry.
Yeah, the telemetry is definitely a good thing, yes. So, I mean, we don't need to vote on that, do we?
No.
No.
Just do it.
Looking at the list, I'm not prepared for this meeting. So I don't think that you all would care about this either, but it is a question. The sewer district is buying a new service truck. So currently they have one of the Bullock Pin trucks as like an extra truck. The sewer pays the maintenance on that truck. When this new truck comes in for the sewer district, does anybody care if we sell that other truck the sewer's paying maintenance on currently? We sell it, we move my truck down there to that spot, sewer pay maintenance on it. And the current truck, Bullock Pin take over maintenance on that. Is that a for anybody? You're essentially trading the truck.
How did you follow all that?
That's part of your everyday stuff.
I mean, you all don't
Yeah.
care, do you?
No, I don't.
I thought you were gonna say buy a new truck.
That's what I was waiting for.
For him, a Denali, that's what.
He knew that, and he knew the rest of it would be second.
No, I just want the sewers truck.
Yeah, I thought you wanted a damn Denali here, 80,000 souped up.
I think that's all I got.
No, submarine.
Oh,
Ranger.
the Ranger will be gone, the Toyota will go down there. I'll drive Ernie's truck, this basically. Oh, we'll get rid of the Crown. Camering and the repair of Sherman Tower, I'm not gonna lie, I dropped the ball on it, I don't have a price for you. I will have a price next meeting though.
This is not an urgent thing, otherwise we're gonna do
It's-
3 or.
Yeah, it's not urgent, I just need to get it going this year.
Cost estimate on what?
Submarine inspection on the water towers, and then we have a ladder that needs repaired on Sherman Tower.
We ever get a hold of Kels's and get his done?
Yes,
Yes.
Carter Chapel?
before he needed it.
Oh, really?
So they don't have scuba divers that do that anymore?
I have a submarine that they drop in and do the inspection.
I'll be gone. Wow.
That's cool.
Well, evidently, the mall, Forest Mall didn't have that because they're leaking.
I think what happened at Florence is all that stuff is set up, like when power goes out on all our automatic valves, everything just opens. So I'm sure it's set up the same way, and the valve opened and water just keeps going to the tower to keep it full, and it's just running over. I'm sure.
Okay.
But yeah, that's,
Anything else?
I think that's all.
Okay, Amy and Ashley.
You guys have a packet that looks like this. It's an
Yeah.
employee handbook draft. If you remember last year, one of the services that KLC offers to us is to help us build a new employee handbook. So Paul and I have worked with a guy named Michael Simon there. That's all he does is write handbooks for companies. So this is the proofread draft from him and 2 people in his office, and then Paul and myself. So he will be at our next meeting as long as we have it on the 23rd, right?
Yeah,
I told
that's
him,
right.
yeah. To answer any questions you guys have. We'd like you, if you could possibly have it read by then, if you have questions ahead of time that you wanna submit to me, there might be a couple things I could answer. Otherwise, I would like to kind of give them to him ahead of time so that when he comes, he's ready to actually answer questions instead of having to go back, do research, yada yada. The employee handbook that we have now has been here since before I was here, so it's been a while. This just brings us up to date in a lot of different things. And with his cost, if anything legal wise changes in the next 5 years, he automatically updates it for free. So that's included in his charge.
Does he work for the,
He works for KLC.
KLC?
Mhm.
Yeah,
His title's, I think, just employment attorney or employment law attorney, something like that.
yeah.
Didn't we vote on it not too long ago?
We voted to get to actually get the process started. It's just taken a while to get to this point.
That's 216 pages.
It's like something else where
Count
we
the
did.
back and the front.
216.
Yeah.
No, it's 109.
108, but you count the back of it too.
No, they're not, they're numbered.
Oh, okay. I didn't look at that. I thought the front, I didn't notice
So,
it was on
do
the
you
back.
want this by tomorrow?
Can.
By the end of the day.
I can send it to you electronically if any of you guys would rather have it electronically. Okay.
I get a summary. Can I get the Cliff Notes?
Anything major changing it, actually, that
There are a
stands
lot of
out to
things
you?
that changed.
Yeah, there's a lot of things,
Yeah.
Did you underline it or highlight it?
I did not. It's just the old handbook was not, it was stupid. I don't know what else to say about it, it was stupid.
I'm asking for a raise. This is gonna be.
Okay, well,
All right,
what else?
so try to get the handbook read before the next meeting.
I would also like to have, could you, Tom, send us a copy of the documents he was referencing in this conversation?
The statute that
The
is.
statute that the KRS statute and our regulations on that.
Oh, okay.
Specs too,
You're
I think
about-
is what he's asking.
Yeah,
House.
Specs.
Yeah, I'd like to,
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever read those.
The-
No, no, I understand it, but I
The different
do.
page, there's like 3 different things that talked about, right?
Yeah, or two for sure.
Yeah. Did you ever talk about Bob Miller?
Yes.
About the whole $2,500 or we're supposed to write a check and all that?
When we get done, I'll talk about the billing after Ashley's done,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So Bill, just so I'm on page with you, you want copies of all statutes and KARs cited in this handbook?
No, just the ones he talked about, just the F on that page and there's another.
About
book
the
that-
Howell,
The
the
Howell.
Howell contract,
Yeah.
what he was referencing.
Specs and then the
Yeah.
KRS.
About, it's our obligation to customers, basically, for meters.
So we got clarification of that.
And if I could ask a question, so we've had lots of subdivisions developed, correct?
Yes,
We've done them all the same.
yes,
Yeah, there's nothing different about this one
no.
than the others.
Nothing whatsoever.
That's what I told him.
Subdivision that I put in, that he put in, he did it, and the mobile home park, I had to do the same thing up there.
Is Howell developing that, or Filippo, or are they in partners?
Filippo, I think, owns the property and Howell's the contractor.
They're in partners.
They're on partners too on it, yeah.
And Howell's a very experienced contractor, and he's done lots of water work, I mean, that's what he does, kind of, all over the country almost.
Okay, well,
There's something to that. There's something going on that we aren't knowing
I mean, he's no dummy, I mean,
Oh, he's a
does
very
work
smart.
in Cincinnati and everywhere else, I mean,
about. It's $500,000 he's gonna save on it.
I don't.
Well, he would just
I
pass
don't-
that on to, that'd just be like putting in the main water line. You just figure that in the cost of the lot. If it cost them $500 extra to hook onto that line, that 3/4 inch line, and run it over there 75 feet,
And what-
$500, you just add that on to the cost of the lot.
So
But
have
that's
they,
how you do stuff.
have they started, and they've already built some houses and sold them, haven't they?
Yeah.
No idea.
No.
They have not.
They have not.
They've graded the streets and they have the water main in. We've done the tie-in. I don't believe they've blacktopped, which,
But all the lots are sold and they're ready for phase 2, and they're getting ready to start on phase 2.
yeah.
And if I'm understanding this right, then if they put the street in, and then they want us to come back and run the, let's say the water line's on the left-hand side of the street and the house over on the right-hand side, we're gonna have to bore underneath the road?
They either want us to set those meters and bore under the road like we would if you bought a meter, or they want us to pay Howell Contracting for doing the labor.
yeah.
That's what they want.
Well, but
I never
we
heard that.
talked to them before they ever, they could go in there with a ditch witch right now and put the water line in over to every lot.
Yes. And that's what they're
That's-
supposed to do.
That's what I did on subdivision and
That's
that
what I
mobile
did on
home
mine.
park.
instead of
Ditch Wuetcher.
line and the crock and the.
Every subdivision that we've ever serviced in this county has done that.
What's the difference on Jimmy Evans? What happened with him? What got him so upset? Jimmy Evans who did the subdivision out there off of Rainbow, or not Rainbow?
Oh, he just extended the water line down the road.
Yeah.
But we gave him pipe, right? To do
We-
it with.
We
Yeah, but that was
supplied the
just the
material.
extension on life. We
Yeah, that
furnished
was
the
a
material, he had to
different
do the
story.
labor.
And that's what we're doing, the same thing with this guy, we're furnishing material.
Yeah.
Two different
Different,
stories.
different, kind
Yeah,
of.
well,
But yeah, we're still furnishing the material. I mean, essentially, it is the same thing. It's just service lines as opposed to
That
mains.
is a line extension. We, with
I know.
Evans, we extend, okay, I'll shut up.
Never mind, let's move on.
You have a little spreadsheet in your packet. At the last meeting, you guys approved us moving or staying with the same health plan with the 9% increase that we got from KLC/Anthem. So what we didn't have the numbers that far in advance before then. So since then, if you look on the left-hand side of the sheet, it shows you what our employees are paying or what our rates are with KLC currently, then underneath of that, what our renewal rates are with KLC, and then that middle column shows you the current deductions that employees pay for their health insurance, and then on the bottom, the proposed renewal deductions. And so, the way that we've done this for a while now, is basically if somebody has family level tier coverage, we've taken family minus single at equals X times 20%, and then that's what they pay. That's the same formula we've used here. If you look over on the left-hand side at the very bottom, it shows you how much that adds up to. So like for a family plan, it's a monthly increase to employees of $38 or $460 a year. On the right-hand side, it shows you what we currently pay for health insurance minus what the employees pay, what it would look like at renewal, and then what our billed current versus renewal cost is on a monthly or annual basis.
So it's pretty much the same thing you showed us last month,
No, last month was at the actual plan itself.
and how many policies did you?
Yeah, it had the cost from KLC on it, but it didn't have anything about like how much the employees are charged.
Does the Anthem plan actually have any of the health and rewards type thing built into it for the employees?
There are some things in there it's built into the plan itself, yeah. I think it's called well-being. It's a PDF document that employees get that helps them understand how many like gift cards they can get through the plan.
We need to make a motion on this?
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Good motion's been made to accept the new health plan by Brian and seconded by Bill. Any other discussion on the health plan? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed, like sign, motion carries.
Then the only other thing I have is at the last meeting, I had asked for permission to change our HRA vendor, because the HRA basically pays half of the employee's deductible for them once they're out, some initial cost. And I moved that from Shard Snyder to somebody called McGregor and Associates. It was very similar cost-wise, and,
Who are you changing it from and to?
Shard Snyder is
How
who
do
we
I
have
spell
now, CHARDSNYDER, to McGregor and Associates. They're a local company out of Lexington, and as long as everything goes okay with them, we'll switch our FSA to them at the beginning of the year. As far as the employees side, they shouldn't notice any difference, it's just gonna be who's sending them the money.
We approved it at the last meeting.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy making that call?
Yes.
Okay, looks like our next meeting.
Bob
date-
Miller,
Yeah, Bob Miller, the invoice that Amy had in question was our last invoice from Bob Miller for the Bob Miller analysis. the Bob Miller analysis ended up costing $16,834.60. And then we also did the rate study with Kentucky Rural Water. Basically the same time as Bob was completing his independent analysis. And that rate study was $5,765.
It's going up every month. I thought we approved 2,000.
But we are done, we're done paying Kentucky Rural Water until this next analysis or whatever you wanna call it. So that last bill we got was Bob Miller's last bill.
Okay, so it wasn't for doing this analysis like we originally thought it might be.
No, it's for doing the original analysis
Yeah.
that was presented in January. It was their last invoice for that.
So basically the final payment.
Yes.
Anything,
Down to death.
This is,
anything else need to come before the board?
Make a
The
motion.
next, wait a minute, the next meeting is July 23rd. Does that work for everybody?
actual.
All right.
16.
I know you're gonna say something. No.
Talking about bait and switch.
Does that work for you?
And then
That
this
work for
is
you,
what-
Robbie?
when we contacted them to do the cost of service study,
Yeah.
and then they were gonna do it, and then they said, we don't need to do any more, cause you don't need a rate increase, that's what that cost.
You'll be out of town.
$5,765.
So the total was
We'll have to
$22,000.
discuss that at the sewer
Yes.
meeting,
Way more
yes.
than what we thought, right?
A lot more, yes.
Yeah,
Do we think it was like 10?
10,000 is what we.
The 23rd works for the water meeting. Greg will be out of town for the sewer, we'll have to discuss that at the sewer meeting, see what we're gonna do.
But the
Okay,
23rd
hearing
does
that,
work.
the motion to adjourn is in order.
Shirts.